why we organize this workshop and what's the opportunities and challenges we are envisioning. So as we all know, human perception is a multi-sensory experience. We use vision, audio, touch, and smell to sense the world. And among them, vision and audio are two of the most important modalities, which also provide complementary information. And for a kid, when he learns to play, for example, piano, he learns to associate the sound of the piano with the keys he's pressing. And for example, for us adults, when we are at cocktail party, despite being very noisy, we can tell what people are saying by both listening to them and watching their lip movement. So audiovisual learning has gained a lot of attention over the past few years, and many tasks have been proposed. For example, audiovisual classification, the goal of which is to classify the audio event present in a video based on both audio stream and visual stream. Or audiovisual separation, the goal is to separate the audio, for example, the instrument sound piano from guitar, or to separate people's voices when multiple people are speaking together. Another challenging task is audiovisual localization. The goal is to localize the sounding object on the visual stream. Existing datasets and tasks mostly focus on the audiovisual correspondence based on single objects from web videos that collected passively, while their relation with the space has been rarely studied. When we look at real-world videos, they are also usually embodied in spaces, and here is one example.
There's a fire alarm going off.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention,
Oh
please?
my God.
A fire emergency has been reported in the building.
Oh my-
While this is being verified, please leave.
Oh my God!
So the lady first heard the alarm going off. So based on the content and some spatial cues in the audio, she very quickly looked out on the walls and confirmed the alarm was blinking. She then proceeded to take the emergency exit. On the stairs, you can hear her voice sounded very differently. This was because her voice was bouncing on the walls to create the reverberation in the space. This video tells us there is strong spatial and acoustic correspondence between the audio and visual. And more concretely, one important application for AV4D is robotics. Imagine if you have a home assistant robot, which is able to move around and deliver you a coffee, but you also want the robot to be able to localize a sounding object. For example, when someone breaks into a home, or the alarm is going off, or maybe for a rescue robot, we want the robot to be able to localize someone who is yelling for help at emergency. And thanks to the development of audiovisual simulation like sound spaces or TDW, a lot of new embodied AI tasks where an agent is able to perceive by listening or seeing in the environment move around. So a lot of new tasks have been proposed in the past few years, including audiovisual navigation, audiovisual exploration, audiovisual collision detection in the simulation environment. The recent development in ECCV, in egocentric video understanding, also poses new challenges for audiovisual learning because the camera and microphones are moving. At the same time, it also offers new opportunity. For example, to go beyond localization in 2D and think about AV localization in 3D. A related application is the virtual reality, where we want to have immersive experience. We want the audio and visual stream to have high acoustic and spatial correspondence. For example, when we have a virtual phone call with a friend, we want his voice to sound like he's speaking in the same room with us. This is why we are motivated to have this workshop to study the correspondence between, to study visual learning of sounds in spaces. However, there are also many other interesting topics. For example, content creation or novel view synthesis or representation learning. And this is what other speakers will be talking about today. So today we have 8 wonderful invited speakers from both academia and industry. Their talks will be covering various topics in robotics, simulation, AR, VR, and several. We also have 12 papers from various universities. So congratulations to all the authors. Many of them will also be here today to presenting their talks and posters in person. As for the program, so we'll have talk from Pedro Morgado on multimodal representation learning from and of for realistic audiovisual data, and then Richard Newcomb to give a talk on the introduction to multimodal perception with Project ARIA. After that, we'll have a paper session A, where 6 speakers will present their papers with a 5-minute talk each, chaired by Rohan Gao. After that, we'll do a Q&A session jointly for the 6 speakers, and then we'll do a coffee break. After the coffee break, we'll have one talk from Josh McDormick from MIT to give a talk on learning to localize sounds, and Thomas Vrintnam to give a talk on spherical audiovisual learning. After the launch, we'll have Alexandra Richard from Meta Reality Labs to give a talk on 3D audio rendering for social telepresence, and Yapen Tian from University of Texas at Dallas to give a talk on human multisensory AI collaborations, opportunities and challenges. After that, we'll have the same paper session with 6 speakers chaired by Andrew Owens, and then Q&A session after that. After a brief coffee break, we'll have one talk from Dinesh Manacha from University of Maryland to give a talk on learning-based audio simulation, and an invited talk from John Hershey from Google Research to give a talk on parsing nature at its seams, on supervised and audiovisual sound separation. Lastly, I want to thank these amazing co-organizers, without whom the workshop won't be happening. I hope you will all enjoy today's workshop. Thank you.